do. I do.
Welcome to Good Morning Football, presented by Nike. We are live in New York City. It is Friday, March 13th. My name is MJ Acosta, alongside my brothers Nate Burleson, Peter Schrager, and Kyle Brandt, of course. And guys, this morning we've touched on it, how important it is that we've all united together, not just the four of us on camera, but the crew here, to bring you that love, to bring you that family, that football family vibe that we have, despite everything that is going on. And I know all of us are still trying to work through everything across the country, but even right here in our studio.
Yeah, it's a weird time. It's a weird day. And I know a lot of people who are watching right now are probably at home from work. I know that there's other TV shows on other networks and that aren't coming in today. We're here. This is not taped. This is live. We are doing this thing in New York City with our crew, with our camera guys, with everyone in Mount Laurel who we all appreciate. And we're in a lot of ways like you. I don't know what you're going through at home. My two children are not in school. Their school closing down. I don't know when it's going to reopen. My wife is at home, and there's going to be reading time and nap time and recess time, and we're doing a whole thing at home. Meanwhile, I am here. I'm hoping to bring some sort of entertainment with my friends here, and we're going to do the show today until they tell us not to.
We came in this morning, early in the morning, and we all had a lot of uncertainty and anxiety and didn't know what to expect. We came in, and our show executive producer, Will Surratt, made a great point to us. He said, the people that watch our show are coming to our show to escape whatever's on the other networks, not to be callous about it. They are here for the diversion. I thought it was a wonderful message. Football is so important to so many people. Of course, health is, of the utmost importance. But for a little sliver of your day, if we could bring you a little bit of joy, we're going to have fun. We're going to try to talk as much football as we can and serve as that outlet for you guys today.
No doubt about it. I'll say something quickly. Whether this applies to you or to somebody you know, oftentimes we feel like race, religion, gender, sexual preference, your financial status, where you stand on the political spectrum, it makes us different, and it separates us as a country, separates us globally. What's happening now reminds us that viruses like this, diseases, death, they're blind to whatever you may think makes us different. So from the inside out, we are all affected the same. So as we're going through this, just understand, we're going to get through this. As a country, as a world, we're going to get through this. We don't just need each other right now. When we do get past this, and we will, just remember we need each other all the time, regardless, in good times and bad times. Forget the color of your skin or what God I pray to or how much money I have. Like, we should always be this close as a world. It shouldn't just be when tragedy hits. You feel me?
Well
said, Nate.
Powerful words.
Well said.
And we're also covering, the sports leagues across the sports world have completely shut down. So we are following how this affects the NFL as well. And Peter, you have some more insight on the upcoming tasks for the National Football League and what it means in the grander scale.
The back page of the New York Post today. The day the sports world stopped, Mike Vaccaro has a wonderful column on it. But it's NHL, it's Final Four, it's baseball, it's MLS, it's NBA, it's PGA. NFL has not stopped because the NFL is not in season, and there is still some business to take care of. And if you're an NFL fan, there's going to be action going on the next few days. One thing that's of most importance to me, Saturday night there is a CBA vote. What does that mean? The collective bargaining agreement. The NFL owners presented a plan to the players to vote on before all of this happened this week. When I say this, I mean this pandemic. Okay? So when the owners offered this deal to the players, there was a lot of talk of 17 games and of the way the practice squad is. In the last few weeks, these NFL owners have lost billions of dollars. And I think coming forward, as we move on, the money might change significantly. The world's economy is in a different place than it was, even when it was at the Combine. So if you're a player at home or if you're an agent to a player at the home, I just want everyone who is voting on this thing to read through everything and consider the global impact on it. If you do have a hard take in a position, great. Either way, good. Vote on that. Just be well informed when you make that vote before midnight, because it will affect not only this year, but the next 10 years. And I think today's current economic standpoint, where we are as a country, could significantly involve everyone in the NFL.
And there are a lot of factors going into this as well. With more on how this is impacting the league, here's our NFL Network insider, Ian Rappaport.
Following a day that saw the coronavirus take over and shut down the sports world, including the NCAA tournament being off, baseball season being postponed, the NBA season being postponed, etc., the NFL remains on track for free agency. As of right now, the plan is to open the league year on Wednesday at 4 p.m., as was previously planned, and the league office has said several times that continues to be the plan. So what does that mean? The CBA vote is going to conclude on Saturday at midnight, so we should know in the wee hours of Sunday morning whether or not the CBA got passed, what free agency is going to look like, and what rules teams will be operating under. Of course, there is also the franchise tag window. That is still, as of right now, slated to close at 11:59 a.m. on Monday. So 1 minute before the tampering period begins, teams should know who is franchised, who is transitioned, and who is not. And then the tampering window opens in the afternoon on Monday to kick off free agency. So amid the backdrop of the coronavirus, the NFL still going as planned. The only differing right now in the league's schedule is that the annual meeting in March was canceled, but the draft remains on track to be held in late April.
Thanks, Ian. And we will, of course, keep you up to date on the latest around the league right here on Good Morning Football. But let's talk a little bit about a defensive standout from the 2019 season, guys. Buccaneers linebacker Shaq Barrett. Barrett is set to officially become an unrestricted free agent on March 18th. But as he told Willie McGinnis from a boat in Florida on Total Access last night, he thinks his future will still involve Tampa Bay.
It's not broke. There's no reason for me to want to go try to fix something that's not broke. So I'm on board, but I still do understand it's a business. So I am prepared for anything, but emotionally, I think it's going to be down in Tampa. But as the business aspect, I'm prepared for whatever happens.
What was the biggest difference, man, from last year to this year?
Last year to this year, just the opportunity to actually be able to play and get into rhythms and not have to feel like I'm forcing anything out there, man. And then all the guys, everybody around me, our coaching staff, all our inside pass rushers, outside on the other side, everybody works so good together, man. That's why, there's no reason for me to want to get that up and go somewhere else.
Well, that standout performance last season led to Shaq Barrett finishing 4th in voting for Defensive Player of the Year, which was awarded, of course, to Patriots cornerback Stephon Gilmore. So as we look at this, which player do you believe is poised to take the crown from Gilmore in 2020?
Ooh, I'll jump in with a guy who,
us something
when
good,
you
Nate.
see him, he just has this big, bright smile. And I want to show you a picture. You think, this innocent guy. Whoa! Is he a dog on the field, or is he just a young puppy? Don't be fooled by the pearly whites, because Tre'Davious White is a beast. Put on the B-roll. Give me some highlights.
Put on the
Listen,
B-roll, he says.
This individual is an absolute monster. Every time we see him, he has a huge smile on his face, but he gets under people's skin. I remember seeing Gronk, big old jovial Gronk, lose his bleep on the field because Tre'Davious was all over him like white on rice, but it was white on Gronk. And I feel like what he's done last year, he can play wide receivers, he can guard running backs, he can guard tight ends. He's proved to be one of the most versatile talents. 6 interceptions, that's tied for NFL most. And you know what else? 47.1 passer rating out there on the field. You know who that is just behind?
No.
Stephon Gilmore. So, for a guy who is off the grid, because the Buffalo Bills are always off the grid, they're the forgotten, other New York team. Tre'Davious White, I think he is primed to not only take over as Defensive Player of the Year, to be one of the best young superstars in the entire league.
I look at Nick Bosa. I look at a guy who was a rookie last year and could have that breakout second year. Nick Bosa is an absolute beast, an unblockable piece. And I know everyone just got to know him last year. Imagine a full offseason now where he can work with his teammates and work with his defensive line coach, Chris Kasarik, out there. Bosa was unblockable. If you watch that Super Bowl back, and trust me, I have, Bosa could not be stopped. He was in the backfield the entire game, and you go back throughout all the playoff games, Bosa was just a wrecking ball. It's only going to get better. He came in as a fully polished professional player when there was questions about missing his last couple of games of the season and what is he all about and who is his character. Niners guys love him. He's all about ball. He's a leader. I think Nick Bosa might not only be the best defensive player in all of football, he might be one of those guys that we look at in that generational conversation with Von Miller and J.J. Watt. And who's that guy that defined his generation? Bosa, the sky's the limit. I think he's better than his brother, and I think he could be even better than anyone else in the league next year.
Wow. The Bosas and the Watts go into a dark alley. Who comes out, Peter? Who you got? Maybe they'll do that after football. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll go in the ring.
Right.
Who do you think, MJ?
Peter, I think we were sipping on the same tea, but with a different sweetener, because I had here 49ers, Chris Kasarik highlighted, but I'm going with Nick's teammate, Eric Armstead.
I like it.
He tends to be so underrated and overlooked so many times. He had more sacks in 2019 with 10 than he's had in his first four career seasons. He set career highs in tackles with 54 last year. QB hits 18, tackles for loss 11. And this unit, as it forms now, as it stands right now with Nick Bosa there, Chris Kasarik leading it, they just had 1 year together to build that chemistry.
Yeah.
So they're just getting started, and they made it all the way to the Super Bowl. I think once we continue to see this, we haven't even seen what Eric Armstead can really do. He has been an anchor for that defensive line and that defense as a whole. One of the guys that's very calm, cool, and collected in that locker room because he knows his focus. He knows what he's supposed to do. And I hope that they start giving him his props.
He's also one of these guys that could be moving teams. And it's this very interesting scenario where they've got Buckner, they've got Ronald Blair, they've got Eric Armstead. They all can't get paid. The Niners have to make some real decisions in the next 18 months.
Very tough choices.
The Niners were ridiculous last year.
They were so good.
A damn 3rd and 15, man. Killed them. We're talking about Defensive Player of the Year. You know, I look to the Jordan era in the NBA, and it was Jordan. Every once in a while, let's mix it up. Let's give it to David Robinson. Let's give it to Karl Malone. We all knew who was the best player, and it was Mike. And I'm looking at the Defensive Player of the Year. Stephon Gilmore had a nice year. Guys, I think if you would ask any coach in the NFL if you can have one defensive player, it would be the defensive tackle for the Los Angeles Rams, and it's Aaron Donald. And every once in a while, Aaron Donald comes out of the clouds to remind us what an absolute alien he is. Did you see the most recent example? This is not a kick returner or an NBA player training. This is a defensive tackle throwing 300-pound medicine balls just to get some core work in. We've seen the knife training, the fast feet. Just look at this man.
Sped up?
Nate, that's regular. I think they might have slowed it down. That's Aaron. Bam, bam, core.
It looks like fast forward, seriously.
And I love all the players you guys mentioned. But, Peter, there's a legendary story about the Milton Berle, and it has to do with just enough to win. Aaron Donald's like, you guys can do whatever you want. I'm Aaron Donald. I'm going to do just enough to win, just to show you guys who's the real man here. And I think it's Aaron Donald. He's the clubhouse favorite, and he will be till he retires. What are you laughing about?
It's an unbelievable reference.
Thank you.
And I needed it today.
You needed it? It's that kind of day. Peter, I'm doing just enough to win.
You're doing Friars Club, and I'm here for it.
Yes. I have to do it on TV. I can't do like he did. But that's it. That's Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald is a monster.
He's not human.
Always makes me feel inadequate when I see him.
Talk about it. Come on.